Today we're going to replace the CV axle on a 2007 Saturn Vue. Okay, what are the signs and symptoms of a bad CV axle or CV joint? Now the CV axle here, the end here where the wheel is located, this is designed to rotate like so. So when you're doing, say, right turns, you might hear a knocking to the left. It's not always true, but this is usually the case. These are slow, sharp turns, so steering wheel on full lock, and you're going around like this. This is a good way to test it too. You should hear a repetitive knocking or popping like this is a sign that this joint here is bad. And it's really cheaper to replace the whole assembly than just this part, because a lot of these have one-time use clamps on the boots here, and it's usually a sign that the boot is cut, the grease has come out, and debris has gone in, and this makes the joint fail. So that's a good way to test if your CV joint has gone bad. And you can couple this project with replacing a lot of these suspension components. So today I'm going to be doing the CV axle, inner and outer tie rods, the ball joints, and the sway bar links. So here's some of the tools you might need for this job. Number one is a long breaker bar to get the wheel nut off when replacing the CV axle, and also some large sockets for getting that wheel nut off. Other things, grease, which is really good for filling these zerk fittings on tie rods and ball joints. And also a bag of tools, and if doing the inner tie rods, then an inner tie rod loosener and tightener tool, which you can rent for free at places like Pep Boys and AutoZone. And I've got a 50-50 mix of acetone and transmission fluid, which is really good as a penetrating fluid, and that will get the lug nuts off and wheel nuts and anything which is seized on. Also some brake cleaner is nice just for cleaning things up. Let's get to work. First thing you want to do is take off the dust cover. And even maybe the night before, you want to get some penetrating fluid on this inner axle rod nut right here. That is foremost and very important thing to do, because these are very, very seized on there. So allow that to soak overnight, or even 10 minutes if you haven't had the luxury to do it overnight. Right, once that grease is soaked in, want to grab a 34mm socket right here. You can also rent these from Pep Boys for free, which is pretty cool. So before even jacking up the car, let's break this nut. I recommend a long breaker bar, and you might even need a sheath so you can put this over your brake wheel bar for extra leverage. It's from an old disabled toilet rail. Once the axle nut is loose, loosen the lug nuts. With the lug nuts broken and loose, jack up the vehicle and place on jack stands. Alright, with the vehicle securely on jack stands, I've chopped it off on ramps too. Just give it a tiny little shake to make sure it's safe and that you feel comfortable working under it. Next thing, take the wheel off. Right, the first thing we want to do is remove the outer tie rod. It's an 18mm bolt down here. You can see this is pretty gone, so before you start any of these projects, make sure you have all the parts you need, because you're going to be in here, you might as well do them all at the same time. So see, this is gone. So 18mm, pop this nut off. You may need a little penetrating fluid on any bolts that are rusted or hard to get at. Okay, this is kind of what I resorted to. I put a little clip around the pliers to keep it in the brake rotor there, keeps that in place while I undo it. I had to also drill a hole into the side of this nut as well. It's absolutely seized on there, but finally getting started now. Now the nut is finally off the outer tie rod, just get a big hammer and give it a whack. It should loosen it from the knuckle. On top of the ball joint here, there's a castle nut. You can see there's a pin going through there. We're going to need to take that little pin out of the nut. Just use some pliers and a screwdriver just to make it kind of straight and knock it through. Right, with the pin removed, you might need a little penetrating fluid just to get that castle nut off. It might be quite stubborn. The castle nut is 18mm, and you will need an open-ended box wrench to take that off. To remove the ball joint from the knuckle, just push down on it. You can see it's almost like a spring-loaded mechanism here. Right, to loosen the CV axle from this big kind of knuckle here, we'll just undo this bolt so it's flush with the end here. Sorry, undo the nut so it's flush with the end of the bolt. That way when you get a hammer and hit this surface, you're hitting a more flat, larger surface. So get a hammer and just give it a few whacks, and it should pop right out. I just did that process, so you can see it's very loose now. Okay, so now the nut is off. Pull the whole mechanism outwards, and you should free the CV axle right here. You can see there's so much play in here, and this is usually where the knocking comes from. This is kind of the rotational part of the axle, and look how loose it is. That's absolutely crazy. So what we want to do now is just disconnect it from this piece right here and pull it all out. In theory, this axle assembly should just pull out. There's nothing else holding it in there apart from ball being seized. I've put a bit of penetrating grease just in there before the silver lip right there, just to try and kind of loosen it a bit. Another thing you can do is get a pickle fork, which looks like this, and insert it up in this gap here, and that should pull it off. This exhaust, however, is in the way, so you have to kind of do it at an angle on this car. So what tends to happen with these CV axles here is you start pulling them off like this, and they detach at the boot here, and then you get this piece left on the vehicle because inside you can see all the threads really rusted in there. So what I did, I pulled this off. I was left with this just hanging in there, and then I just got a little pry bar. Good thing about this car is that it's not all the way down near the transmission. There's a nice long rod that brings us more near the wheel arch, so it gives us more room to work with. So I just put the rod underneath here, down the side, and pop, just like that. Just popped it off. And that's all you need to do. You don't need these long things with pliers on the end. Not with this car anyway. Clean off all the rust, because the last thing you want to do is put a new one on and have loads of rust along these threads. Also, if your CV axle replacement didn't come with a ring like this, then you'll either need to get one, or you might be able to reuse it. The problem is with these rings here is that they become rusted. So we don't want this to rust and then get the new one seized on. So clean this all off, brake clean is fine, and then we'll go from there. Right, compare your parts. It doesn't have to look identical like the boots, but just make sure the whole thing is the same length. That is the main sort of interest here. Right, before inserting the CV axle, we need to make sure this ring here just stays absolutely still in the center, not to the side, not to the bottom, because when you put it on, it needs to go on straight and centered. So what we're going to do is put grease over this, and this keeps this ring here just nicely in the middle where we position it and want it. Okay, so I've just got some grease here out my grease gun there. I'm just going to smear that on the end, just like so, all the way around, just so this O-ring stays still. Now if you look down in our new CV axle here, you can see right at the end there's a little outline of where that ring snaps into. So when you push this on the car, you'll just hear a little snap, and that way you know it's in correctly. It's quite hard to get the CV axle on at first, but just make sure it's really lined up and you're pushing completely straight. If the sway bar stabilizer gets in the way, just remove the top, push this out the way with a wrench, and just make sure it's going on straight, then you shouldn't have a problem. But whatever you do, don't run this without that snap ring as much as you really want to remove it, because it's preventing you from getting it on. It's on there for a reason, otherwise this will fall out, and you really do not want that. Alright, before we push the other end back into the wheel bearing in the knuckle there, I'm just going to put some anti-seize on these splines here. Grease works fine. just this little area here. What tends to happen when a wheel bearing is it heats up, and this is really hard to get out and it seizes up. So just a little bit on these splines, not on these threads, because the last thing you want is a lug nut to axle rod nut just to fall off while you're driving. That wouldn't be good. Okay, now that's done, we'll just put this back into the wheel bearing. Once it's sitting in there, just push down on the lower control arm to get the lower ball joint back into the knuckle here. Alright, once the axle is all the way through, your lower ball joint is somewhat lined up, just get a jack and lift up the lower control arm. This pushes everything into place. It helps to just put the axle nut on just to keep this piece in place, and then the only thing you have to worry about is the lower control arm. I used the jack as just like a guide. I didn't use too much pressure, but it just allowed me to keep it steady once it's in that position. So now we can put the castle nut back on, the ball joint and a pin, and yeah, we'll connect the tie rod and we should be good to go. Right, tie rod goes back in, and then we should be good to go. Wheel back on, car down, give it a test ride, see if it's any better. Thank you for watching, hope it helps.